Conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Doug Smith. It is Monday at 2:30. It is time for our Monday through Thursday 2:30 podcast. This is a podcast where you will hear the science about what actually happened to people during this opioid crisis. And it's not something called opioid addiction, and it's not a surge in of dopamine in the reward centers of the brain. That's just all misinformation. But what you're looking at on the screen in front of you, this is real. This is what happened. Okay, and let's talk for a moment to two groups of people. Let's talk to the people who have ever experienced an episode of opioid withdrawal. And let's talk also to people who know somebody, a loved one who has experienced an episode of opioid withdrawal. And let's look at the screen in front of us. Okay, now, this is science. This can be confusing. Hang on, don't get confused. Don't panic. Okay, we're gonna walk you through it. And here's what you need to know. Okay, this is a scientist. This is an anesthesiologist by the name of Kienbaum. He's a German anesthesiologist. Okay, once the psychiatrists took over the funding here in the United States, beginning in 1992, all worthwhile research in this country stopped. But fortunately, other areas of the world were not as impacted by the pseudoscience that's coming out of the psychiatrist. And the funding for the opioids came out of NIDA, NIDA. NIDA's only had two executive directors, Alan Leshner and Nora Volkow, both of whom are just huge pushers of misinformation. Anyway, back to Kienbaum. 10 volunteers from the methadone clinic. He put them to sleep. He's an anesthesiologist. It's what they do. They put people to sleep. He put them to sleep, and then he immediately put them into withdrawal. So what you see on the screen in front of you, okay, look on the far left there and look for two words. Look for cardiac index. Okay, cardiac index is how much blood the heart pushes forward based upon body size. It's index to body size. That's why it's called index. Okay, cardiac index. And if you want to know, it's the heart rate times the stroke volume divided by the body size. Cardiac index. Okay, and normal cardiac index is 2 to 4. Anything above 4 is what's considered high output heart failure. Write that down. High output heart failure. High output heart failure. There's actually a dash between high and output. High output heart failure. Okay, it's a deadly condition. It'll kill you. Okay, the heart's just working too hard. It's relatively rare, less than 0.1% of episodes of heart failure in the United States are high output heart failure. It's stunningly rare, very rare, but very deadly. And it starts above 4, cardiac index above 4. So you see that the anesthesiologist Kienbaum put the people to sleep, and you see their cardiac index go down. And then right there, you see that he gives the naloxone. Okay, if you look on top there, you'll see the word naloxone, and you'll see it's right. And all of a sudden, as soon as he gives a naloxone, that cardiac index heads up. Okay, as soon as he put the people into opioid withdrawal, that cardiac index goes up and it stays up. It plateaus for all 3 hours. This was a 3-hour study. For all 3 hours, that cardiac index goes up to 4.7. Okay, that plateau is 4.7, and it stays there for hours. That's a deadly condition, everybody. Okay, high output heart failure begins at 4. In withdrawal, people are at 4.7, and they stay there. Okay, that's what drove the pharmaceutical genocide. That's what killed 4 million American citizens. This is what drove people to the street. Okay, the body knew it was dying. Okay, this is why you can't withstand with opioid withdrawal. Okay, the body knows it's dying. Okay, you're going to go and buy something. You're going to get something. You're going to live. Body doesn't want to die. Okay, and so this is the podcast where you'll hear and see the science, and I want you people to see this. Okay, this is how wrong the psychiatrist is. And by the way, this Kienbaum study, the information on the screen in front of you, it's from 1998. This is part of the science that the psychiatrists and the pharmaceutical companies have ignored. Okay, but when we file our mass tort lawsuits, they're not going to be able to ignore this. You're looking at why the mass tort lawsuit, they're not going to be able to have an answer for it. Why? because in 1998, it was known that the cardiac index went to 4.7, and 4.7 is not a survivable level. Okay, everybody will eventually die. Okay, and half the people are dead. Okay, it may take a few rounds of for young people without underlying heart disease, it may take a few rounds of withdrawal. Okay, before enough of your heart is dead that you die. Okay, a young person, they may not die their first few episodes of withdrawal. But judging by this graph right here, my professional opinion is eventually everybody's going to die. Okay, withdrawal will kill you, and it's going to kill everybody. It's killed about half the people. Okay, now you get on buprenorphine, this doesn't happen. Buprenorphine's an antidote for this. You get on buprenorphine and you live. Okay, and that's what we're trying to say to the FDA. Okay, and the book goes very deeply into this, and it goes into what's called pseudoscience. Pseudoscience is fake science. And that's what psychiatry is. It's fake science. It's not real science. Okay, now you're looking at real science. You're looking at real science. And what the real science is telling you is that when people go into opioid withdrawal, their heart beats too hard and too fast. Cardiac index is heart rate times stroke volume. Heart rate, number of beats per minute, stroke volume, the amount of blood that gets pushed forward. Okay, so when you're in withdrawal and you feel your heart beating fast and it's pounding, yeah, that's heart rate and stroke volume. Fast is heart rate, and pounding is stroke volume. Okay, and yes, you withdrawal, which is caused by an adrenaline toxicity, withdrawal will absolutely push your heart into a point to where, cell by cell begins to die. And we'll actually look at the science on the cell by cell death. That's how the heart dies, is cell by cell. And then finally, when enough cells are dead, the heart's dead. When the heart's dead, the person's dead. Okay, it's not rocket science. Okay, it's not rocket science. It's pretty easy to understand once you know what's happening. So we'll hold here for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to us. Don't forget to post this podcast on your social media and everybody else's social media. What we looked at today was cardiac index, and what we saw today is that in opioid withdrawal, individuals experience high output heart failure. Google it, high output heart failure, and you'll see that it will kill you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Alex, and we will be back tomorrow. Thank you.